You are made of meat, my friend, all the way down.
The following podcast uses words like and also. If you're not into any of that shit, then now's your chance.
3, 2, 1.
Run.
Super familiar with the Wilsons. Get it!
Welcome to Super Familiar with the Wilsons. I'm Amanda.
I'm Josh. Amanda, did you know that today the first official portrait of King Charles was unveiled?
I did not know this.
You didn't? Okay, so you've not looked in our...
No, I saw the WhatsApp and their notifications were popping up, but I was very busy doing my actual job today.
I sent it to you tonight, but okay. So you ready to see? You've not seen this, sight
I've
unseen.
not.
For
How
those,
big are his fingers?
Well, I mean, it's a 9-foot tall painting.
Oh, God.
So you got to figure at least 7 feet of that are his sausage fingers. But
Okay, so not to scale or whatever.
It is to scale. But here's your first view.
Honest impression, yes.
Yeah. Now, again, this is state-sanctioned official portrait.
So this is like the presidential portrait version of this.
Right. So what I want you to do is I want you to describe to the listener what it is you're looking at. Now, keep in mind, this is 8 feet tall, this.
Okay.
Ready?
Oh, my. Well, okay. Here he is.
Okay, so how's his face? His face is done pretty well, right?
His face is good.
Yep.
Yeah. No, his face is good. It looks like him. Yeah, that's a good portrait.
And his fingers are there.
Yes, and they're stubby fingers.
Yes. What's the rest of it look like?
Jell-O. It looks like somebody put this painting under a mold of Jell-O. Like they put the painting and then molded Jell-O around it and then like dug his face out. That's what that looks like.
All right, so what we're looking at here is we're looking at King Charles like above his knee, right? So it's head down to past his waist. And he's in his British Army uniform, his ceremonial uniform. But the entire painting, except for his face and his hands, are various shades of red.
Yes. No, somebody put him in a Jell-O mold. And some of it is just a regular cherry Jell-O, and some of it's that thing where people try to get fancy and mix the Jell-O with whipped cream.
I think
it's
I
a
see
little pinkish.
some cubes of pineapple and pear in there as well.
Yes.
And but I don't know if you saw this, but above his right shoulder, do you see that?
Oh, he has a butterfly.
It is a butterfly. Now, they're saying that this thing, when they unveiled it, that people responded well to it, but it does say, because I saw video of the unveiling, that King Charles' reaction was a little bit more muted.
Than his portrait?
No, than everyone else who was gushing over it, I suppose.
Well, I saw The Crown. I knew what happened when Churchill's portrait was unveiled, and he was very angry, so maybe it was something similar.
The gentleman who painted it is Mr. I assume that he goes by
Royal
Mr.
Painter.
Where's his name? It's his last name is Yeo. Yeo. His first name is not in this article. I don't understand what's happening here. But he's a very famous portrait artist, right? He has painted luminaries such as Charles' wife, Queen Camilla, British Prime Ministers Tony Blair and David Cameron, and Dennis Hopper.
Okay.
Nicole Kidman, Sir David Attenborough, Jamie Oliver, and Rupert Murdoch.
Okay. That's weird. That's a weird mixture of people, but okay.
It is, but I cannot get over the fact that this is bright red.
I mean, I don't hate it. It's just different. Do you hate it?
Yeah, I do. I think it's ludicrous. Now I can't help.
No, it's Prince Charles.
Oh, ludicrous. Now I'd like to see a portrait of Ludacris hanging in Buckingham Palace. But here's the thing. I wonder, and I've seen some people wonder, if this is the artist's not so subtle way of pointing to the blood-soaked colonialism inherent in Britain's past.
Yeah.
But for that to be an official portrait?
Well, it says it's a sword, a butterfly, and a lot of red. I mean, it is a lot of red.
That is something. So go ahead and look at that and tell us what you think. I just feel like it's like he's having one over on the royals and
I don't know that he's having it over on them. I think they're aware of it.
Yeah. He says, Yeo. I don't know his name. He explains, in the history of art, the butterfly symbolizes metamorphosis and rebirth.
Okay.
That's appropriate for a portrait of a recently ascended monarch. Oh, monarch butterfly. That's what it is. It's a monarch butterfly. Maybe that's supposed to be the queen. It's a little tiny.
Oh, maybe it is. She's sitting on his shoulder.
Maybe it's Diana.
Oh, she's not playing either.
No, she is not. She does not look happy. So anyway, I feel like this is going to be one of those games because the background is like swirls of different shades of red.
Yeah.
And it almost looks like clouds. And a game for generations to come is what do you see in those clouds in the background?
I would 100% see things in
So
there.
go look at that because, again, the face is hyper realistic and very well done.
Yeah, it is. It's really good.
If not, it takes some years off of him, so it's flattering in that way. But then it's just this blood-soaked picture of a dude in a uniform with stubby fingers holding a sword with a butterfly on his shoulder. You seen any good art this week, Amanda? Well, last week we did have the first in our installment of What the Fuck is John Saying?
Yes.
We had our friend, Scotsman John Watson. He spoketh unto us a phrase, and we're supposed to translate what it means. Now, by the way, John listened to the episode. And he says, apparently you accused him of trying to sell you a pig.
I did.
And he says that he's not trying to sell you a pig. Mm-hmm. Then he says he really doesn't mind us taking the piss out of him, which I appreciate. And he said that Kirsty loves the fact that you guys can understand her.
Because
Kirsty is his wife,
she's
yes.
Speaking clearly to me.
Right. So this is what John said, and then we're going to tell you what it means. All right, ready, Amanda?
Yep.
If you can see it's a broad brick moon neck and neck, you're all right again.
All right, so do you know what it is that he's saying?
Well, I do because you and I have discussed it, but it took me a long time to get there.
A bra brech moonlech neck kneck. You're all right to ken. Right?
To ken means no, like, right? You ken means like,
well, here's the thing. So I asked him, I said, John, make sure that this is all in English and not in some weird Scottish dialect. And just heavily accented.
He said it is.
And he said, no, this is all English. And John, I dispute that because there are two words in here that are not, this is not the Red King's English. Ken
is no.
You're all right to ken, meaning you're all right to know, right?
Yeah.
That's not English, friend. But then the first word, it's a bra. Bra brech moonlech neck neck.
So moonlight, I'm hearing. Moonlit, right? You've said this.
Okay, so bra, not
like, is it BRAUGH?
BRAW is how I've seen it spelled. It means nice or good, right?
Okay, yeah, that's not English.
Bra brech moonlech neck neck.
Okay, so a nice, bright, moonlit night.
Yeah, it's
on the lake.
A nice, bright moonlight night to night. So in other words, it's the phrase is like, that if you can say that, then we're doing well, and it's a beautiful night, and we're doing,
and life's good kind of
and
thing.
Life's good type thing. There you go.
To ken.
And you're all right to ken. You're all right to know.
All right. Well, I love it, and I like the sentiment behind it. That's a nice thing to say. Like, we've got a bright moonlit night, and life is good, or whatever. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. All right. So, did you get that? Did you know that that's what John was saying? If so, let us know. familiarwilsons@gmail.com. If you protest the use of two of his heathen Scottish words that are not the Red King's English, then get in touch with us. Let us know. familiarwilsons@gmail.com. If you would like to send us a recording from your homeland saying, a phrase or whatever, and we got to try to figure out what it means, then we're up for it. Send it to familiarwilsons@gmail.com. Now, I will tell you that I did figure out all of that John had said, except for BRAW, because that ain't no English word.
Yeah.
So I had figured that out.
Yes.
Like the rest of it. I think that I'm pretty good at figuring out accents. I grew up in Miami and multicultural hotbed that.
Yes.
So I had to figure out what different people from the Caribbean were saying and different Caribbean islands like Grand Cayman or Jamaica or all these things. Or, the various different dialects of Haitian or Cuban or Brazilian or all these things, So I'll take all challengers.
Do you know what I learned the other day? I know we're not doing the what you learned this week, but I learned that Haitian Creole is a spoken language, not a written language.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because
why is that so?
I don't know. Well, I don't know why it's so. The reason I came to know it is because I work. We have a book delivery program where we have books in English, Spanish, Haitian Creole, and Braille. And the Haitian, the Haitian Creole books are not as easy to find as the Spanish books because it's not a written language. And so the translation is harder to do or to come by. So there aren't as many books out there for it.
So does that mean there's no commonly accepted written version? Like you
I
can
mean,
have like two people who hear it and then
and
they
the
take it down
may
and it
look
could be different.
Right. And it may look different. Yeah. I didn't know that.
That's really interesting and probably really confusing. And I wonder if that means that their culture, you know, the different things that are very distinctive to them as a society are easily lost.
Well, I don't know though. Yes, but also probably it leans very heavy in the art of storytelling and being passed on from generation to generation. So they therefore maybe more effort is put into making sure these stories continue.
Either that or they really need to build up their TikTok presence.
Okay.
And that's how they're going to pass things on is by using TikTok.
Well, TikTok's going to get banned at some point and then we're going to lose all that content.
I don't know if it is. You know, there's all this talk about a TikTok ban, which, you know, I'm not here to be for it or against it because the issues are a lot more complex than the outraged teenagers are saying that it is.
Yeah.
Because who owns that data? Does the Chinese government own that data and that access into our phones? Are they using it as a propaganda tool? Mm-hmm. I do know that whatever's going to happen isn't going to happen quickly because now, you know, lawsuits are in motion. ByteDance, the company who administers and owns TikTok, they're going to take this all to court. So it's going to be a while, folks. So settle into your TikTok, enjoy it. And actually, by the time all of the lawsuits are done, TikTok will probably have gone, and the next social media app will have risen anyway. Because
your grandparents will just be using it like they use Facebook now.
That's right. And it'll chase all the youngins off. You know, I've always said that once I adopt a social media platform, it's on its way down.
Yes.
I've been on TikTok for a bit of time, so I can't imagine it has much more time left.
I just don't do the TikTok. Yeah. Unless you send me TikToks, then I will look at them. But
I mean, when I first got into it, like I would look and I would just scroll, and now it's just I hardly am ever on it.
I spend probably most of my time on Instagram.
Yeah, that's a waste.
I like reels of puppies.
Oh, okay.
And baking desserts.
I like YouTube as a platform.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's got all the video. You don't have to pay attention to any of the social stuff if you don't want to. You don't have to look at any comments unless you go searching for them. That's the way to go.
That's fair play.
Yeah, I like that. And YouTube has one of the most advanced search technologies. You know, in the way their algorithm is set up, YouTube is the best platform to both discover new things and to have your own stuff discovered.
So, are you putting us on YouTube?
I've just put our first podcast on YouTube.
Yes.
I've put a couple video pods up before, but now it's just going straight from our pod host straight to YouTube as audio, and we're going to see what happens.
All right, that's fine.
So last week's episode was the first one, and this one will be up there. If you do your podcasting listening through YouTube, then go do that. You know, it doesn't matter to me as long as you're listening to our content. Speaking of our content, we had a chat with Chris Barron, friend of the program, last week. Chris is the lead singer of the Spin Doctors, who, by the way, are coming out with a new album, I understand.
Oh, fun.
At some point pretty soon. They haven't announced when, but they've announced that.
It was almost a year ago that we saw them in St. Augustine because you took me for my birthday, and it's almost my birthday. This is just a shameless plug for my birthday, really.
How is it a plug? Are you expecting people to send you stuff?
Absolutely.
You know, here's
superfamiliarwilsons@gmail.com.
Can we talk about this and what your expectations are for your birthday? Because we just had Mother's Day.
It is not my fault. For 30 years of my life, my birthday was just in its own month, and then I celebrated my mom. Then when I was 31, I became a mother. Not my fault. It's a week apart. Sorry, not my fault.
Okay, can I finish?
No.
So I think that you did pretty well this Mother's Day.
I did do well this Mother's Day. You bought me lovely things, and you put together the stuff that I bought for myself that I wanted and just asked you to build for me. And I love my sitting area on the back porch so much, and it's like an extra room, and I just stay out there all the time, and it makes me so happy. But still have a birthday. Well, this is what I'm saying. This is why I'm telling the people, because if they want to send me things, then you don't have to.
Okay, yeah, please, y'all. Amanda's going to be having a wish list, right?
I'm going to make it on Amazon.
On Amazon. Amazon wish list, like all of the influencers. And y'all just go ahead and purchase stuff off of that. I put together this damn patio furniture for you.
I know, and I loved it.
Which it didn't annoy me to do it, but the process, there's extra screws. Why
There's always extra screws in case you lose one.
Yeah, but also you're at the end of it and you're like, what the fuck did I miss? Where does this go? You know? Okay, can we talk about Allen wrenches?
I didn't make the Allen wrench.
What dickhead decided that we need to have a new tool, right? For other than the tools that we already have, but you say to yourself, well, Josh, they include Allen wrenches in every set. How is that anything but wasteful and bad? Because no one ever keeps those Allen wrenches. You know why? They include it in every set because everyone throws the fucking Allen wrenches out from the last time they did their furniture. And besides that, why do we need to have different size Allen wrenches? You get me a slotted screwdriver, right? You know, just like a regular screwdriver, and I can use that shit on any number of screws, right? Big ones, small ones, as long as it's got the slot. I'm in there, baby. But with Allen wrenches, every single fucking screw has a different size opening, if you will, and I need a different Allen wrench for it. Well, that's nonsense. This set that I just put together had 20 screws that were about this long.
Yeah.
Right? So let's say...
that's like 2.5, 3 inches.
Yeah, 2.5 inches. And then the other screw was like 2.25 inches.
And you had to have a different Allen wrench?
Okay, so first of all, why the two different size screws when they're that close together in size? Give me the same fucking screw, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about anything. Second thing is it just boggles my mind that screws that are that similar in size need to have different Allen wrench sizes.
Right. The head of the screw shouldn't be that.
Fuck you. Whoever decided that this was a thing, someone is sitting in the patio furniture like manufacturing space and watch I screw with this guy Wilson, right? And then puts the stuff in two different. I'm putting it together and I'm putting these chairs together, and the chairs require at some point for me to switch from the slightly smaller screws to the slightly larger screws using a different Allen wrench. And so I've set the one Allen wrench down. I'm sitting here on the floor. I go looking for the one. I don't know where the fuck I put it. Like I lift my legs. I'm sitting cross-legged style. Finally, I find it. And then I go to do that. And I go to do the next piece for where's the first fucking Allen wrench?
You're feeling very angry about this.
It's just the whole thing was so... Part of it, the reason I was frustrated is because I spent so much time installing this one seat back and it just wouldn't do, right? It just wouldn't line up. And I'm like, of course. They've sent me a thing and they've not lined up the slots where it needs to go, which this has happened to all of us where you got to jimmy it or whatever. But this was really off. So I went and I got my drill and drill bit and I opened the hole up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Finally, I got the screw in and fixed it, and I'm moving on to putting the seat onto the back, right? Mm-hmm. The bottom seat portion. And I realized I've put this fucking seat back on backwards.
So it's not the fault of the chair and or the Allen wrench.
And wouldn't you know it, I unscrew it, I turn it around, I put it back in, easy as Larry.
Yeah.
So easy, so quick. So I lost an hour. I was really disgruntled.
Well,
which, by the way, this week I learned that gruntled is a word.
You can be gruntled?
It's meaning pleased or satisfied.
It doesn't sound satisfied.
It sounds so like the noise that I would make if I was annoyed, I'd go.
Yeah.
Like that's the noise I would make.
Yeah.
So anyway, that just irked the living shit out of me that happened. So I was happy that it all ended well. I'm happy that you have your little outdoor room space. It's not leaving me looking forward to your birthday.
I'm not going to buy you furniture to build. I mean, the good news is you let me nap through all of that. So I can't, I mean, you gave me breakfast in bed, and then the 7-year-old taught me about space for an hour, and then you took him away, and then I went back to sleep and slept from 10 to 12.
I'm going to tell you that everything worked out, and it turned out to be like a slightly humorous story, and it'll be funnier the more time I get from it. But I was not going to tell you that happened.
Yes.
except that it turned out well and it's a funny story. But I was not going to come up and make you feel bad about your fucking furniture that you bought for me to put together, because I love you and I did not want you to feel bad.
Okay, but now it's okay if I feel bad.
Well, now because at the end of the day in the story, I'm the idiot,
Right.
so that's fine.
Right.
I'm cool with that. Anyway, Chris Barron was on the show last week and he talked about meeting the Rolling Stones.
So interesting.
He talked about meeting Robert Plant.
The Allman
And
Brothers.
the Allman Brothers. That was pretty cool. And I've got another clip from that where he talks about when they went on Saturday Night Live, which fascinated me.
Mm-hmm.
So let's roll that tape, as they say in the business. You posted a little something the other night about being on SNL, which I find to be fascinating, and that's like kind of a different realm than hanging out with the Rolling Stones. What was that like? Like, were they cool to you? Like, what was it like being on?
I mean, when we were on, there isn't like a big kumbaya moment where you like everybody comes over and says hi to you necessarily. You know, people sort of duck in and say hi, but they're about to do like a show that they've had to work out in like 4 days in front of people on live television. So they're all kind of like, they're a little bit in their heads, you know. Adam Sandler came over and said hi. Lorne Michaels came over and talked to us. One funny thing was we were rehearsing, we're like sound checking / rehearsing. Adam Sandler and Chris, the guy who died, Chris
Farley is the name you're searching.
Yeah,
for.
Chris Farley. Adam Sandler, Chris Farley, not Mike Myers, but the other.
Yeah, the Wayne's World. So it's Mike Myers and Dana Carvey.
Dana Carvey. Sorry, it was Chris Farley, Dana Carvey, and Adam Sandler, and they're like walking through the studio, sort of like, you know, in front of the stage, and we're playing Little Miss Can't Be Wrong. They were like engrossed, but then they heard us playing. And they all kind of like drifted out of their conversation and just like were still walking, but like watching us and listening to us play. And like out of nowhere, Chris Farley just did this dance. He just started like rocking, like in a funny way, like, you know, just like did this like funny, like I'm a super rocking guy kind of like dance. And like, of course, like, you know, he was really big. And so his body was like, you know, jiggling and kind of moving in this way, you know, that was like really crazy. And I was like, that is fucking, Chris Farley is like doing a funny dance. So like Little Miss Can't Be Wrong. That's really wild. And like your dressing room is like the music artist's dressing room is like across the hall from the guest host. So the guest host was Joe Pesci, and yeah. So like we had been watching like all of the Scorsese, De Niro, Pesci movies like over and over again on the bus. This is like, you know, VHS days. Like nonstop. So we were like, what? Joe Pesci is the guest host? That's crazy. We were conjecturing about whether De Niro and Scorsese would show up. And they did, you know, which was like crazy. And we were so excited about that. And we were getting ready, and like Joe Pesci's in his dressing room and he's like smoking a huge cigar. The closets are like right by the doors. So like I was looking at my wardrobe, which was like a t-shirt with a hole in it and like a moth-eaten sweater. And he's looking at his like, you know, bespoke tailored suits and deciding which like bespoke tailored suit he's going to wear. And he looks over and he sees me and he does like a take, you know, like, you know, and he walks into our dressing room. He's like, you know, short little guy. And he's like, oh, hey, Spin Doctors. Hey, how you guys doing? And we're like, great. He's like, what label are you guys on? And we're like, Sony. He's like, oh, Sony, huh? Tommy Mottola. You know Tommy Mottola? He's the president of Sony at the time. And we're like, yeah, we know Tommy. He's great. And he's like, great. What the fuck are you going to say about him? He's your fucking boss. Your fucking boss.
Dude, that's a moment right there. Joe Pesci, that's a moment.
Oh, totally. And so later on, De Niro and Scorsese like show up, and I'm just standing in like one of the corridors in the studio. That was the first time I saw somebody that famous. And he walked right by me. Like it's just a little corridor. So I saw them coming, and we were like sort of loitering. So we all was like, oh fuck, here comes Robert De Niro. And actually, I think somebody said, oh, Bobby's coming. And we like looked up, it was Robert De Niro. And so we backed up against the wall, not like powering, backing up. We just like, just got out of his way. And I had just sort of standing next to the wall. Couldn't take my eyes off him. And I just watched him walk by. And it was like a shot in a movie. Like seeing somebody that famous for the first time, somebody I could only contextualize through like a screen. It's funny because I don't think that phenomenon really exists anymore, because we see ourselves on a screen. So everybody's like videoing everything all the time. I remember seeing like our video on MTV for the first time. Little Miss Can't Be Wrong was the first one that got played. And seeing myself just coming on television and feeling like this crazy disembodied kind of feeling, and being like, wait, if that's me, then who am I? But I don't think people get that feeling as much anymore, because people are videoing themselves all the time.
I wonder if also if that affects the way people view quote unquote celebrity. I mean, for the same reason that you're talking about.
Oh, it's totally different now.
Yeah.
It's totally, there's an expectation of access.
You mean like this, where we're accessing you from our?
Well, yeah. I mean, and it's but it's the reality. It's the reality of now. I mean, it's just, there weren't the kind of channels that there are now. Like I was like trying to remind Lindsay tonight, who I was doing an interview with, and I was like, do you remember like this guy? His name's Josh, and like he asked me to do his podcast, and it was like a tweet, and I just liked the tweet. And then like we had a couple more interactions on Twitter, and then he sent me like a copy of the podcast, and he was like talking about me in the podcast as if I was like, somebody who's trying to date. Like, does he like me or does he not like me?
Right. That is legit what happened.
It was so funny. But I mean, that's just not the way. You couldn't have done that with like Burt Lancaster in like 1959. You know what I mean? Like that just wasn't an option. It just wasn't on the table.
All right. Well, thank you, Chris, again, for being so generous with your time, and as you have been throughout the years at this point. We have one more clip from him that we'll play in a future episode where he talks about parenting, which I found to be fascinating as well.
Spoiler alert, parenting tips from Kevin Bacon. So stick around for that. Really interesting.
You'll enjoy that. But now it's game time.
What time is it? Game time! Woo!
All right, Josh, it is time for a flashbacks quiz. This is the quiz in which I give you 8 historical events, and you're going to put them on a timeline using this first event I give you as the benchmark. We're going to go either before or after until we get them all on a timeline.
All right. This time I'm going to use a pen just so I can kind of keep track of what I'm doing here. So you're going to give me an event.
Yep.
I got to try to figure out where it happens in time. Go ahead.
So I'm going to give you the starting point. Okay.
Right.
So 1876 is where we're starting. And the event that we are going to anchor ourselves in this week is in 1876, Anne Jarvis seeks to honor the work of moms in every field of life. Her daughter will create Mother's Day. So that's 1876. Okay.
So wait a second. How does Anne... So the daughter creates Mother's Day. What does Anne do?
I don't know. She seeks to honor the work of moms, quote, in every field of life. So I don't know if that's...
We're not learning much from this.
Well, no, but we're going to learn
Okay.
something next. Ready?
Go ahead.
Okay, well, we just learned that this woman was born and then her daughter did Mother's Day. Okay. The next one, and you need to tell me if it came before 1876 or after.
Right.
Arno Rubik creates a toy cube to explore 3D shapes. After he turns it a few times, he realizes he doesn't know how to solve it.
And that is Rubik's Cube. And then he was probably the first to do what every child did after, and that's take that fucker apart and push it back together again in the right
I just took
combination.
the stickers off and moved them
All
around.
right, so I'm guessing that that's like in the late 70s, early 80s.
So definitely after 1876.
Yeah, because I remember Rubik's Cube. I remember that my first solution was to take the stickers off and to stick them back on, right, in the right places. But number one, that was very arduous. And number two, if I'm going to lose track of a fucking Allen wrench, imagine those stickers.
All right.
So I'd be like a cube that had just lots of black spaces in them.
All right. So the Rubik's Cube was invented in 1974.
Ah, very good. I said I was close.
Okay. So our next, so you get 3 points for that. Our next historic event, Pope Gregory I, an influential writer, revises a list of vices that includes greed and hubris. This new version becomes the 7 deadly sins. So is it after 1974, before 1974, or before 1876?
Definitely before 1876. I got to figure out how far back. All right, I don't know why, but knee-jerk reaction, I was thinking like the 1500s. So I'm going to say the 1500s.
Oh, minus 1,000.
1400s.
Minus 10,000. No, it's 590.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, 590.
So it was minus 1,000. 1400s would be minus 100.
All right, so that was 590 AD.
Yes. Okay. All right. The next one is a chemist, Rosalind Franklin, gathers photos and data about the molecule called DNA that helps lead to the discovery of its structure, a double helix. So right now we have 3 things. We have the 7 deadly sins, we have Anne Jarvis's daughter making Mother's Day, and we have Rubik's Cube. Wherein would you like the discovery of the double helix to go?
1950s.
Okay, so we're going to say in between Anne Jarvis and before the Rubik's Cube.
Yes.
1951.
Bam! I'm doing a dance. I'm moving my pelvis.
So that you're in a chair. All right, ready? Constantinople falls to the Ottomans. I know that I really, really wanted to sing it. Okay. Scholars from the city bring ancient Greek manuscripts to Italy, helping to fuel the Renaissance. Before 590, after 590. Because I'm guessing it's before 1876.
When was the Renaissance? I have this is shit I should know. All right, geez. Oh man, I might not get this one simply because I don't know when the Renaissance was. Okay, so ooh, damn it. All right, I'm just gonna have to say after 590 because I have no earthly idea. What is it?
1453. So I was thinking the Renaissance is around the 1300s. So, okay, I was off by 100 years.
All right, so I got that right, but in my calculations, because I had no real idea when it was, I couldn't guess a date. In my calculations, I got that wrong.
Okay.
But for purposes of this test, I got it right.
You're still winning according to this test. You're at 12 points. Okay. A doctor, Francis Townsend, proposes pensions for Americans over 60. It was called delusional, but the plan helped lead to Social Security.
Oh, shit. I feel like I should know this, but I have no earthly idea. God, I really don't know much about American history, do I? Except for Rubik's Cube, which is an American.
No, you knew about DNA.
Yeah, kind of. Let's say, Jesus, 19...
So before we discovered the double helix?
1940s.
Okay. After 1876, before 1951.
Yeah,
correct?
Go ahead.
1933. Close.
Very good. Okay.
Born to modest Prussian nobles, Catherine II takes the throne of Russia. She expands the country through war and enriches it through the arts.
I'm going to put that in between 590 and the next one up.
1453 is the next one.
1453, yeah.
Okay. Oh, we missed it. Incorrect, but close. It wasn't close, though. It was 1762.
Oh, fuck that shit.
Okay. All right.
Listen, I'm not invested. I hardly
You don't
know
know
American
Russian
history.
history?
I'm not going to invest myself in Russian history.
Okay. Now, I assume this is... I don't know how to say this. The city is Caral. Carol.
Go ahead. It's a Polish, right?
One of the first cities in the Americas
Oh, shit. Okay, never
is
mind.
built near the Andes. People lack ceramic pots for boiling water, so dinner is often fish and roasted veggies. I don't know why this is a thing they've given us.
I mean, it's just as random as everything else. What? Because it's not vaguely European history, it doesn't belong?
But I just
What's wrong
don't, they
with you?
don't have pots to boil water, so they eat fish and veggies.
Oh, that's the bit you don't like.
That's the bit
not
I'm
the
not
fact that they... Okay,
right.
we're going to say before 590.
Before 590?
Yeah.
Correct. It was 2600 BCE.
Yeah, that's way before 590, baby.
All right. All right, last one. Ready?
Yeah, thank God.
In Vienna, Beethoven debuts his Ninth Symphony. But the reason I got excited is because I told you this was happening this week because I was sending you Beethoven information and you were asking me if it was a slow news week. And I was like, no, it's the 200th anniversary. Oh, damn it. I just told you. Of the Ninth Symphony. Okay, I'm good at this game. In Vienna, Beethoven debuts his Ninth Symphony, which he created but could not fully hear. He turns to see the crowd's rapturous applause. Are you doing minus 200 minus right now?
All right, so that's like the 1700s.
Okay, so is it 1762 or before 1762?
Before.
Oh, 1824. Because it was 200 years ago.
All right,
It's
whatever.
2024.
I didn't carry the one. Leave me alone.
Okay, so you scored 22 out of 28 points.
That's just all right.
But so I was reading actually about this Ninth Symphony. He was in his 50s when he composed it and then conducted it, and he could not hear. He could not hear at all, and he was conducting, and the crowd was, like they said, rapturous applause. But a soloist had to grab his arm and turn him around so he could hear the applause, or not hear the applause, see the applause. But the reason why I was reading about this, there was an article in the New York Times that they've now retested some of his hair that they have found from collectors, and the lead amount in the hair is something like 300 times what normal amount should be. And so they're thinking this might be the solution to the mystery of why he went deaf.
So did he eat a bunch of little chess pieces? Like, what did the lead come from?
Apparently,
was it cookware? It was cookware, right?
Wine.
I'm sorry, what?
Wine.
No.
Apparently, he was a very big consumer of wine, like 1 to 2 bottles a day. And at the time, the corks were sealed with lead something, and the wine was kept in leaden barrels. So there was a lot of like lead contamination in the wine.
Lead barrels?
Mm-hmm. Or
Wow.
lead-lined barrels, like there was lead in the barrels
To keep the radiation out? I don't understand.
It's something about lead also when it reacted in a certain way tasted sweet, so it sweetened the wine.
Okie doke. Whatever.
And some of the medications that he was taking had lead in them. He was taking like 50 something medications a day.
Oh my God. Someone get him away from the pill doctor. Listen, I'm just impressed that he was able to do such amazing things without his sense of hearing.
Yeah, and apparently in horrible pain all of the time.
Yeah. I just know that like when I get up in the morning and it's dark and I get dressed, like if I could dress as well in the darkness as well as he could play music, being deaf,
You would be a symphony.
then I would be putting on the Ritz, baby.
There you go.
No one likes to be told what to do.
And now is the time in the program where we tell you what to do. Folks, welcome to my life. Amanda, tell us what to do.
You're funny. I'm not going to tell you what to do with this because you won't do it. We're coming up on summer, And if you are 21 or older and you partake in beverages, you might want to consume a summer cocktail. I am here to recommend to you a spicy cocktail. So we go to this Asian bistro where they know us, and we go in, and as soon as we go in, they say, do you want and they know what drinks we like. And they do a ghost pepper sangria that I love, but I have found at home, I try to drink hard seltzers because they're lower in ABV and they don't have the calories and the carbs, right? But I found one, it's ranch water, and it's just, the flavor's called spicy, but it's jalapeno. So there's jalapeno in it, and I love it so much. It is so good. So that's my recommendation. I got it at Target. If you're looking for a light summer cocktail-y beverage, and you don't mind a spice, try the ranch water jalapeno.
I'm sorry, you say ranch water, and I'm imagining the piss trough in the horse stables. What does ranch water mean?
I think it has something to do with tequila originally, yes.
Oh, got it. Okay. Well, I have a recommendation for you. It has nothing to do with sending you towards the devil's cocktail. I want to recommend some music to you. It's a band that I just discovered. Actually, I think it's a dude, but he goes by like a band name. But I think it's basically just him. Kind of like
Passenger
or whatever.
Isn't Passenger just a person?
Yeah, I don't know. Passenger's gone. What a strange little voice Passenger had. That sounded like,
Where did Passenger go?
I don't know. He took that long train out of here. All right, so this is a band out of North Central Florida here, or a guy. I don't know. Anyway, look him or them up on Instagram to find their socials. The Housing Crisis, it's called. Also, I checked out the Housing Crisis album, Astral Apartment. I checked it out on Apple Music, but it's on Spotify. And this music is called electronic folk pop.
All right.
And I like it because it mixes regular, like, old-timey instruments like guitars and like what you would figure from a pop band of my generation, but then also synths and like very modern sounding synthesizer work and everything. I'm doing a bad job of explaining it. People
just need to go listen to it.
Yeah, it's really great. I like it, and he's got a really, really unusual voice. I like it very much.
Do you know what I bet goes really well with it?
No, don't say your drink.
The Devil's Cocktail.
No, because I don't know I think this is also like a child. I think that maybe this person is like late teens, right?
Well, but doesn't mean you can't drink it and listen to them if you're 21 and older. I gave the 21 and older caution.
I don't think it's appropriate for you to be drinking alcohol, listening to someone's music who they can't drink yet. It's a bad example to them. Also, I don't think that you should be watching children's programs. Bluey, for example, should not be watching that with alcohol. It's wrong.
Okay. Therefore, you should not be drinking alcohol and watching your actual child wandering around the house doing boo-doo music out of his mouth, because he does that all the time. So therefore, you would never be having a cocktail at night. Or your daily iron supplements, which you've come to take.
Listen, our 7-year-old, love him with all of my heart. But I need my medicine.
Which right now is a Guinness.
I need my medicine. Yeah, I have started drinking a daily Guinness because it's good for me.
It does have iron.
It does have
the 1% of your daily intake.
1.7%. Thank you very much.
All right, that's right. No anemia in this household.
All right, Amanda, that's all there is. There is no more. There are no refined gay thoughts from Jeff this week. Jeff sends his apologies, but he will be back with his thoughts next week.
We look forward to hearing from you, Jeff.
Thanks again to Chris Barron for chatting with us and for providing us with our theme song. Thanks also to all of you who are listening. I'm so excited every week to see like different cities pop up, different listeners. We have this one listener in Germany, weirdly, just one.
All right.
All these other countries we have people, but just one in Germany. So I can't pronounce where you're from, but you know who you are, clearly. Please get in touch, familiarwilsons@gmail.com, and let me know what life's like in Germany, which the Wilson family homeland is Germany.
So shout out to our listener in Germany.
Ah, yeah, see, No. Jawohl. Right?
What?
I don't know. Anyway. All right, Amanda. Until next week, you all just be safe, be kind, be cool, be fragrant, be delightful, be pollen.
You've done it again.
What?
You've taken my line.
What is, I don't...
Every damn end of this episode, I say, go be kind. And you've already told the people to do it. So just bye. Just go ahead and go, Jerry.